Well, good morning, everybody. And I know it's not live, but this was recorded, full disclosure, on Sunday prior. So this will be airing at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. That's a normal TED Talks. My name's Ted Davies. This is Ted Davies Artistry. Today, we are going to be talking about, I consider some famous people in indie comics, but I think in general in comics. And, we've got some really great, I don't know, what I guess they're characters in comics that really good duos. You've got Scarlet Witch and Vision, you've got Superman and Lois Lane, you got Batman and Catwoman, Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Don't forget about that one. And of course, Jean Grey and Scott Summers. I think that for indie comics, I think that my man JD Calderon and his lovely wife, anybody know her name? Daphne Lage. They are awesome, and they are a couple that I really look up to in a lot of regards because I think that a lot of us, not me, Christine's extremely supportive in what I do, but a lot of us as creators don't have that spousal support. And I think it's really important you guys see this for what it is. These people have been doing this. This couple's been doing this since the 90s. So I really want you guys to, sit back, take some notes, and maybe if you don't have that support, maybe you can learn a few things from these two creatives. So we'll be back in a second. Hello and welcome. I am Ted Davies. This is Ted Davies Artistry, and this is TED Talks on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. That's a lot of T's. But I promise you it'll be worth it. You guys, if you're creative, please plug into what we're doing. I'm affiliate with the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. If you go to Rising Tide Broadcast Network on Facebook, you can follow us. We're a group of creatives that help creatives build their business. And it's 7 days a week. We're entertainment, education, and enlightenment. We try to show you a couple guiding ways to build your business as creatives, whether you're an artist or an author or a collector like me too. Check out everything that we're doing on Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We're also sponsored by Cashman's Comics. John Cashman's been in Bay City, Michigan for 26 years. Whether you're a novice collector or you're a seasoned collector like me, check out everything that John's doing. He supports indie comics. He's got my books and my comic books in his shop. He ships nationwide, so check out everything he's doing. Say hi to Petey, the guard dog, too. Petey is a staple diet at the shop, and he's just a great dog. One of the things that I do want to talk about, we've been talking a little bit on TED Talks lately of a small little section I'm starting to call Ted's Library, and I always try to showcase a creator that I appreciate. I appreciate their work. Their efforts in the industry. One of the ones that was given to me, this comic book was given to me by Randy Zimmerman. And if you guys don't know who Randy is, Randy has Zimcast on YouTube, but he's got Randy Zimmerman on YouTube, his channel. So check out everything that he's doing. He's old school comics. This guy has been publishing for years. Hero Bot Zero is one of the fun ones. I mean, this is a great comic, well made. One of the things about the production of this book, 3 staples on this. I mean, this is no joke. I mean, this is not something that I've seen some really shoddy, work in my day as far as the book itself. Story's a lot of fun, but as far as the construction goes, they're just well made publications. Arrow Comics has been around for a long time, and I've known about Arrow Comics since I was a teenager. So. But this one is Arrow Comics 4.0, and it is something I want you guys to check out. And they do have an Indiegogo. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that in depth. And it's a really interesting story about how this correlated into this production. So, and we'll talk a little bit briefly on that, not too detailed, but give you an idea of a little bit of the struggle and also the successes that are going to happen from this book. So more power to you, Randy, and good luck to you. Much success. Check out everything Randy Zimmerman's doing on his channel. Okay, I think that's it. Let me just go through my list here. Okay. And with no further ado, I think what we're going to do is, should we bring in JD or not?
Yeah, I think we should.
Everybody knows you guys. You guys are like, I mean, you're everywhere. So welcome,
Right.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Ted.
JD, I already asked you this on TED Talks earlier. You've been on the show. I think, was it twice or once? Once or twice?
I think one so far.
Okay. And I asked him. I'm going to ask you differently though. I
Mhm.
usually say, okay, on TED Talks, when did you guys land on this planet, or when did you land on this planet? How did you guys meet? I think that's more important, since we're talking about couples anyway. How did you guys meet?
I got hooked up by a friend.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much what happened. When Daphne was still in high school, I was just out of high school. I started forming my first comic publishing, you know,
Endeavor. Yeah.
publisher, and it was called
Yeah.
Calderon Unlimited.
Yeah.
And I was
You
hanging
told
out
me.
with a group of
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, I told you this. So,
Yeah.
and he brought me all the best artists from his school, and Daphne was one of them.
Right, because it
Yeah.
was the High School of Art and Design, so it was a specialty high school. I mean, it would be considered a trade school, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a specialty school where it was predominantly the arts, and I remember being in homeroom. I think I was in my sophomore year, or it was just the beginning of the sophomore year, and I was in homeroom and I was showing off my portfolio, my sketchbook or portfolio to somebody. And even at the time, I was doing a lot of furry artwork,
Mhm.
and we had a common friend, and he was
Mhm.
in that homeroom with me, and he was looking over our shoulder at my portfolio, and he goes, "Hey, I have a friend who's starting up a comic book company. You want to you want to work for him?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." Because that's absolutely normal thing to do.
Sure. Right.
Mhm.
And you guys have never looked back. You started dating right away, or no? It was like
I
work
was in, it
relationship
was a
first,
couple
all
of
that.
months.
Yeah.
Was it? No, I think it was
No,
maybe
6
6
months.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
six
Yeah.
6 months.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JD, you dog. You dog, man.
Yeah.
Never mix business with ever, man.
Well, that's
Always.
I was,
usually the rule. Yeah.
yeah, but we were so young, we didn't know that rule.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad. So
Hmm.
you guys you've been together a long time
Yeah.
then. I mean, a
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
long time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so one of the things about you guys is that, and it's really an odd thing because I've seen this a lot with where spouses write, but it's usually the woman that write. All due respect, it's usually the
Hmm.
woman that writes and the man draw. And I've seen that
Yeah. I've
countless
seen that a
times.
Hmm.
lot too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Finch and his wife. David draws. Obviously, everybody knows David Finch. His wife
Hmm.
writes. She wrote Wonder Woman. Um,
Hmm.
how did that? Okay, so if you're both in art school, or were you in art school? No, you weren't in art school. You weren't, JD.
Me? No, I went to completely
Okay.
different high school.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Okay, so that makes more sense. We have a school
He.
here
Hmm.
in Detroit
Right.
called CCS,
Hmm.
Center for Creative Studies, and a lot of photographers and car designers and everything else come out of that.
Yeah. I
So it's
mean,
a
you could.
vocational,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
The school he went to couldn't have been more incompatible. He went to automotive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
went to one of my
yeah,
high school. Yeah.
yeah.
It completely crushed any dreams and desires I have over automobiles. I mean,
Oh yeah,
just
right. I
just
know.
did me in. Just I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
interest.
Well, I can understand.
Yeah.
In architecture school, man, we had a tech school in high school, and it
Mm.
gave you a college credit when you were there before you went down to college. And by the time you're at college, you were just like, do I really want to do this? You know what I mean?
Right.
But the money was right. But man, it was just like, ugh. It took you forever. If I had to draw one more cross section of a toilet, I was about ready just
Oh
to
my
shoot
goodness.
myself. Okay, so how many books have you guys done over the course of since the 90s?
Wow. Well, I mean, technically, I only have the Tall Tales, which that's pretty
Right.
much the one that
Oh,
I've started on and I'm still
that's
on.
pretty good. Yeah, it's a
Right.
pretty
So
good
it's just the
start.
one book.
Well,
Yeah.
it's 20 issues for the first arc.
Yeah.
There's a Gabby one shot. There's
3 issues for the Peacekeepers.
Peacekeepers, right?
There's
Right.
I'm currently working on 8 issues for a new story arc. I'm two.
Right.
I have 2 issues. 6. Yeah. I have 2 issues left on
Right.
that one.
You got a couple issues. Is what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, there's 5 issues already
Right.
released.
Well, it was, yeah, 5 out of 8 are
Yeah.
completely done. Yeah.
Got it.
Mm.
How do you keep it, the creative side of it? Do you guys, everybody sees that you're in 2 different rooms. You're in the same home,
Yes.
correct?
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it that way? I mean, do you have to keep separate in order to, or is it just for
I
this?
mean, I joke whenever I get asked that question. It's like, so what's the secret to your relationship longevity? And I joke, but not completely, that the secret to that is separate offices and
Yeah.
separate bathrooms.
I can understand it. I can listen. I understand. We live in a smaller home, and I understand. You got to have a
Yeah.
place not for argument's sake, but you have to have some space.
Right.
You
Yeah.
do. And I know it's just as a creative.
Yeah.
Christine's very creative too, and she has a greenhouse in the back. There's a lot of things that are, yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
think it's important to have a space that's kind of like the no-fly zone.
Yeah.
That it's
Yeah.
like, if you're in that space,
Yeah.
you're working.
Yeah.
Like if he's in the basement, he's working.
Got
If
it.
I'm in my office, I'm working.
I got
So it's
you.
like,
Yeah.
and we usually, don't cross paths until we're out of those rooms.
Got it.
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
have that time.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Mhm.
How is the how does the stories work? Do you come up with something or do you, Daphne, you drawing something and say, hey, I got an idea? How does that
Well,
how does that mesh?
when it comes to Tall Tales, that's all JD taking the
Yeah.
lead. I mean,
Yeah.
he created it. I'm technically the second person to come in on that book, the second or the third, I think.
Yeah, like third, I think. Yeah,
Third,
there was
right,
there was
yeah.
a couple people before.
Right. So it's not like, I came in and go, oh, I have an idea. It's more like I have this story that I need an artist I can, because all the artists that he had before, they were all like more into superheroes. So
Got
they
it.
couldn't
Right.
quite get the furries right.
Right.
So, or at least get the look that he wanted for it. And then it's like, so I took over from that. So I was more inheriting Tall Tales rather than, I guess,
Creating.
like creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's kind of stayed like that. Like, he gives me a script and I just run with it. It's only if I have like very specific questions that I go, can you like give me more backstory here?
Yeah.
I don't understand
Yeah.
this scene or that, but that's kind of the extent of it. I don't think with Tall Tales there's ever been anything that I've said, can you change this?
Did you, I mean, Chris will say, and this, there's certain things you don't, there's certain things you try not to say to
Right.
trigger the other
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
She'll say something. Did you mean to make it sound like this? And don't
Right.
say it like that. Can you restructure it a little? Are there
Uh-huh.
times, you know what I'm saying, JD? Is there something is there a way that you kind of guide each other and certain things? It's like, I know that you'll need, Daphne, you'll probably say, what are you talking about here? You
Right.
probably get, you get frustrated. I'm
Mhm.
sure that you guys,
Right.
and it's normal. It doesn't mean you don't love the person any less, or
Right.
it's just, how does that work to where when you have that moment,
Well,
how's
because the
that?
thing is, if there's something in the script that I don't understand, I can't draw it.
Right.
So I don't think it has anything to do with like, like to give you an example, like one example, there's a scene in the new story arc where he doesn't reveal until like 3 issues in that one of the characters that I have been drawing the entire time was missing an arm.
Right.
And that actually was important to the story. And I was like, really? You're going to tell me in the 3rd issue?
Really?
So
That's
I
the
had
one
to,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Could
Totally.
you, so I had to come up with kind of like an artistic compromise
Yeah.
to make up for the fact that I only learned about this thing too late after I did the
Man.
character design. And here's the kicker too. It's not like he didn't know what the first 2 issues that I drew already looked like.
Right.
Well,
You didn't mean to do that, though, right?
in
JD,
my
you didn't.
defense,
Yeah, right.
in my defense, I handed her all 8 issues at one time.
Mhm.
It's not like it's not like I said,
That's
here's
true.
one
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
right.
here's another.
Right.
I
Right.
expected her to read the whole thing
Sure.
before she started. on anything.
No, you see, that's the thing.
So,
That's what I didn't do.
I
I broke
expected her
down
to
the
read the
first
whole
issue,
thing.
and I
Right.
just
I
started
understand
working
it.
on it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Well,
but
and
the thing is, I
you've
I
seen
had to go
things.
with a compromise for that
Right.
missing arm.
Yeah, she did. It worked
Right.
out fine.
Yeah.
Who does the edit on it?
What is that?
Who like take
What is that?
take off?
What is
Well, I
what is
mean,
that?
listen, I have editors, and then I've got Chris kind of as the beta reader, and then she,
Uh-huh.
there's certain things I'll take out because I don't like the way it sounds or whatever, and then I'll have my
Right.
editor, I'll throw it at them, see what they think, and
Right.
they bounce it back. No, your wife's right, of course, right, and they've
Mhm.
got to add that. How do you guys handle that? I mean, and no, your books are edited, so don't give me that, JD. You guys are pretty good.
Wow.
Books are laid
Okay, so
out.
we are
They're laid out
actually
well.
pretty well. We're really good.
Yeah, they're laid out.
Well-
No, they're laid out well. They've got a good page turn. Everything's good.
Well, here's the thing. When I write the scripts, right? Like the second arc. Let's just take that as an example.
Yeah.
I wrote all 8 issues, right? And you can ask that. It took me 4 years?
Yeah.
3 years? Like it
Yeah.
took years.
Mhm.
You know. I wrote all 8 issues, and I set those suckers to the side, right? And then what I'll do is I wrote an issue, then I would set it aside for a week or two, then I would go back and edit it. And I did that for each issue. Then I set them all aside for about 6 months. Then I came back and I did a re-edit. That's how I go about it. Then I hand it to Daphne, right? She reads them, and as long as I don't hear her coming back to me saying, "Yo, this sucks," I figure everything's good, and then I go. I keep working on my other stuff. That's it.
Are you
Yeah.
going to remaster everything, or have you remastered everything?
Well, the first story arc, Thieves Quest, I've been remastering in terms of putting it in a new format, which is the trade paperback.
Right.
That's actually comic book size. Up until this point, we were doing them digest size, and it's just got. I mean, it's like we've literally lived to see how technology changes.
Oh, yeah.
Over
Yeah,
30 years.
You have. I mean, you were at the beginning of Photoshop.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, I
Yeah,
remember college.
Photoshop?
We're all the same age.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you guys.
Yeah,
so.
we saw Photoshop 1
Right?
with our
Right.
eyeballs.
Right.
Yes, we did. So we were finally able to release the books in the format that they were meant to be, in
Yeah.
comic book size, not digest, especially with the amount of detail
Oh, yeah.
I put in,
I mean,
put in everything.
Any of your
so,
books. I mean,
yeah.
this one here. I mean, this
Yeah.
Raven was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
I mean,
no. Yeah.
everything. I've got to say that the way that the even the placement of the clouds, everything, the word bubbles. Oh my God.
Oh, it's
mean-
that's very studied. Because the thing is though, that's me. That's me kind of like getting a crash course on how to do all that in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because Ego Raven is almost just as old as Tall Tales.
Right.
Almost. It's like
Right.
I came up like where Tall Tales started in high school. The seeds for Ego Raven was like already beginning to germinate when I went to School of Visual Arts.
Mhm.
And those original pages were from like the 2000s on, so what the artwork that you're looking at, aside from the coloring and the lettering, that's like almost like 15-year-old artwork.
Yeah. That's
So,
great. I don't
yeah,
think that's
right.
bad at all.
So in terms of remastering Tall Tales, the original series, I didn't do much to it except reformat it and retool the cover. I mean, this is the original cover from the original trade, and all I did was cleaned up the inking and recolored it because I figured it still worked. Yeah, that's the original.
Yeah,
That's the
there you
original.
go.
Yeah, so you
that's
see,
it.
so I figured the artwork still worked. It just needed, I guess, like an updated ink
Right.
and coloring. So that's, in terms of remastering, that's what Tall Tales is seeing.
Okay.
When it comes to the second story arc, what we're looking at doing is having those colored and re-releasing them.
Okay. That's
in
great.
color.
That's good.
So that's going to be like their remastered, even though those comics aren't as old as the original story arc. It's just that so many things have just become so accessible to us right
Sure,
now that there's
sure.
no reason for us to not take
We're
advantage
yeah,
of
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
we're gods. We're
Hmm.
gods when it comes to this stuff. It's incredible what you can do now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
from the broadcasting to
Hmm.
the production. One of the things I really respected about JD was when we were talking on my show earlier. He said he talked about printing. He talked about print runs, and he talked about just the capturing everything of what he could do back in the '90s. And during that time, it sounds like you guys were working together anyway,
Hmm.
Yeah.
in certain capacity. Um, it- how has it gotten easier? I know that, like, you guys heard about my mishap that I had my printer send in a bunch of stuff that was misoriented, and so my
Ooh.
Mhm.
fulfillments got
Uh,
pushed back, and there's a paper shortage, and on and on. How do you how do you see the difference from the '90s compared to now? Even though we've got all these options, um,
right.
good or bad?
Well,
What's your what?
it's easier in the sense that we have POD. Now, the trade-off is price, right?
Mhm,
Because back then, per unit, my per unit cost per comic was 30, maybe 40 cents, right?
mhm.
Maybe 45 cents with shipping.
But that's with
Today,
lesser production. That's with lesser, like,
well, that's
run.
with me running 3,000 books
Well,
in
okay,
black and white. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Um, Now today though, that same book is running me 250, $3 a book,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Uh, Whether it be black and white or color, they're within $1 of one another
Mhm.
typically
Yep.
for a 32-page book. But the difference is I can order 10 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I still have stock from the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how many books. And the thing is, we went in the black on all of those books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We made our money back. We made our cream, and we still have stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many
You know,
books? How many books do you think we have floating around out there?
uh, if we counted Tall Tales,
Mhm.
9, no more, 12, 12, and then there's the stuff Daryl did up
Right.
to,
Yeah.
and that's probably another
And a three.
15,
Right.
right? Because he did 4 issues. What did he did? Yeah, he
I
did
think he
one,
did
2, 3, and
three.
4.
I
He
think he
did
did
3.
three, up to three. Yeah.
No, we did 3. He did 4.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't remember. Yeah. You
Yeah,
see,
we
And
that's
did.
this
how
is
long.
see,
That's
now
how
you're
long
getting the
we've
goods.
been.
Yeah,
Now you're getting
Yeah.
the
right,
goods, guys. This is how they work. You see it?
Yeah.
right,
This is
Right.
how it
right.
works.
But we're talking about like we're talking about just between those two, 28,000, and then if you count furlough,
Furlough. Right.
which
Yeah.
ran for what, 50 issues.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about tens of thousands of books at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
And then you have the stuff that we released on our own through Diamond.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You have the stuff that I mean, the first trade, this one,
Mhm.
we
Right.
did initially, we did 1,000 of them. This is one of them.
Right.
And we sold out of these
Yeah. A long time
15
ago.
years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We sold
Yeah.
out of these a long time ago, and we
Yeah.
reprinted them. We probably printed another 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
Those are all gone.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, there's quite a few issues of Tall Tales out there. I mean,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
there's a lot there's a lot of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking. I would say somewhere in the realm of like 40, 50,000 books that
Right.
have Tall Tales in it in some form or another.
Do you
We
feel
have.
like the production of comics though has gotten, because everybody can do comics now, and
Right.
every company, not every
Hmm.
company, but do you
Right.
find it's nerve-wracking now because you might not have the same quality as you did back in, say, I mean, because there was quality back in the '90s. It was different
Right.
than there is now. But
Hmm.
not everybody can produce a comic, even though they've got the technology to produce a
Right.
comic. They
Right.
might not know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Oh, I mean,
eh,
are you asking that is it become too easy for
Yes.
people who are
I
making comics that
yes.
shouldn't?
Yeah, well,
right.
that's a learning curve for every, because there's certain things that
Yeah.
I know that
Right.
I'm gonna change in my trade. But
Mhm.
Right.
but I also wanted to have mistakes in the comics because that's the way I work with a lot of the people that find a mistake in my book. I give them a free print.
Mhm.
But I do that to build a camaraderie kind of
Mhm.
thing. I wanted to show them they
Right.
could do this. It's not
Right.
just me. It's not just
Right.
everybody else on Ivory Tower that has, you've got a story, you can tell it.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
everybody should be making a book. You're right. But I'm saying that
Right.
I don't want to crush people's dreams. That,
Right.
but my thing is I wondered if it's now you've got everybody on the street corner that can produce a comic book format, not necessarily in the same level as everybody else,
Right.
production wise, as a printer, not as a
Oh.
creator. So do you think it's better now, or do you think it's worse because you have all these options?
I mean, I know that it's easier for me to set up files now because because back in the day we had to set up for this is where we had to set up for Heidelbergs. If anybody in the audience these the giant presses and they were very specific. It's a very specific setup. It was kind of borderline convoluted. There were film involved. There's film involved. There was those ruby lift things involved. There was there was a lot of moving parts. You know, just to produce, just to do the pre-press.
Yeah.
Now it's like all I need from any printer is their parameters. And the thing is, though, most PODs are all using almost the same machines that I personally have worked on.
Okay.
Because I've worked in print at print companies and whatnot, and I'm familiar with a lot of these machines, so I know what they can do. And aside from slight parameter changes, it's actually a lot easier for me to set up for pre-press, to set books up.
Yeah.
When we were working with another printer that was working on I'm assuming they were working on a Heidelberg too, even now. Kingery. It's like I had flashbacks because there was like this whole thing that I had to do with the files that I never had to do with digital, and I had to relearn how to set up for offset. Oh, that was the word I was trying to remember. To set up for offset that I hadn't had to do in decades, and it was just like,
that'll drive you to
I
drink.
did not like it. I did not like it.
Absolutely, yeah. I can imagine.
So POD is definitely a lot easier to set up for.
So people that don't know, print on demand is what we're talking about. But
print on demand. Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day, I don't know. Was it harder really though? I mean, it was, because the thing is, the only thing, all right, because here's the thing. Back in the day when we were printing, when we first started, Calderon Unlimited, we were using Brenner. Yeah. I had to send them all the originals.
Yeah.
So they would photostat.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, that must have been nerve-wracking, dude. Sending out all your originals. Ah, God.
It's funny. We didn't even think twice about it.
That was just how it was done. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just SOP. So we were just like. Yeah.
I mean, originals we weren't that precious with originals back then. I mean, I was gluing lettering to the pages directly.
That's
that's just what we saw everybody else doing. So it was just like, I mean, now I'm horrified.
Right.
now it's like I couldn't re-letter the first couple of issues of Tall Tales even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it required too much. Because even like the word balloons are drawn on the the artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's I mean, covers, everything like that. I mean, it's all traditional art. I would be. They go for a lot of money, and I would not send them in the mail unless the person bought them. You know what I mean? There's no.
Yeah, I recently remastered one of our old books, Dreamweavers.
And I've got the original there. That you see.
And I relettered that whole book. I had to remaster it, and man, that took it took forever. And it was just one of these things where it's just like, since we had peeled off all of the lettering, all the old lettering,
or it had fallen off on its own,
or it fallen off. Some of it had just fallen off. So it was crazy. I was just like, I had to rebuild boxes and all sorts of stuff. It was nuts, man. I was just like, okay, it took weeks, but I got it done.
What's the best part of all of it? When it's all said and done, when you guys can look back on it and what you've done together, what's the best part of all of it?
Seeing all the books together. Being able to just like take all our
the library that you've created.
These are like the trays that wear I mean, to be able to do that to your own work. It's just
pretty
like
awesome.
Oh wow, I did that. We did that.
You guys do you donate to libraries? What do? You do you do any of that stuff?
we haven't done it in a while. I did it while we were. I remember there was one year at San Diego, and they were asking. There was a library there asking for people, and I remember we had donated there. The problem with donating to libraries is that they tend to discard the books. You know, because they usually don't have the shelf space, or if it's not on a request list or something like that. So,
well, that's the thing. I mean, we go right to the buyer. I don't play. I mean, I go right to the buyer of whoever's in charge of the library, and I'll pitch them. This is what we can do for you. I mean, it's one thing going like to the hospital, helping the kids out that are sick. I understand that. That's a great way of doing comics, but yeah, I just wondered what your take was on that.
Because it's like also I think like libraries now, it's like they usually go through like specific like their own specific like distributors or something.
Yep. Some of them do. Here in Michigan, it's a little different, but I know what you're saying. Okay, so let me ask you. We'll get into the crowdfunding, which you guys can write a book on that, on which I think you should do. I think you should produce a book or an audio. We get a YouTube channel just doing that.
With the amount of crowdfunding we've been doing.
Well, JD's got a condition because he's obviously done 2 of them right now, right? Yeah. Both of them are active now.
No. I got one that's active that I'm part of. I'm not running that one. That's not one of mine. That's not mine. I'm part of it, but I'm not doing that.
But you both are on it, right? Yeah, right. That's right. You're both on a crowdfunding platform, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, but the thing is, though, he does have a campaign that launches on Monday, and he is just like a fiend, just itching to press that button to launch it.
No,
that'll be tomorrow.
He hates the pre-launch.
Technically it'll be yesterday because we're going to be airing this, but you guys definitely get on there, and we'll show you that in a minute. We'll go through that. I really wanted to talk about the situation that and we're not going to go into like depth with this, but the situation that you got with Long Shots now, which is great, what you guys are doing as a collective. And you guys have Indiegogo, and I'm going to throw in the description before I launch this for premiere, so that everybody has the connections on the description. Long Shots, the group of you, the coalition of creatives that are doing this. I think it's just you guys need to check out everything that is going on with it, and we'll set it up in the description. We're not going to go through all the stuff that happened and all that. You guys can check that out. Is it Dojo? Dojo did that.
Dojo Khan,
yeah, he's great, fantastic guy. We're trying to keep it real positive here because you guys are positive people, and I am too. And I want to make sure that so we can always go, circle around the mud, but I'd rather we rise above that. You got to have some lotuses grow out of that mud, and this is what we're doing, right? And Long Shots is definitely, and this is actually part of Randy's on this too. Yes, this is part of this, and so I definitely want you guys to check that out in general. But Daphne, let's talk about you because you're the success in the room right now. 15 minutes. This crazy campaign. This is fantastic.
I was surprised myself. This is my 4th issue. This is my other series that I do. This one is I wrote and I drew this. And it's my solo book pretty much, and I've been doing the campaigns for this since last January with issue 1. The pandemic kind of like taught me, okay, now that there's literally nothing going on, what am I going to do with all this time? And I decided to take this story that I've been running on my website for like the past 15-20 years just as a hobby, because that's how it works, right? So Tall Tales is my job comic, and this was my hobby comic because that's what we do on to unwind, right? What do you do for work? I draw. What do you do to unwind? I draw. It's like that's just how it is,
right?
So I decided to actually remaster those pages that I was uploading onto my website. Just like I said, it's like I was uploading them as I felt like doing the pages. There was no pressure doing them, and then it's like before I knew it, I realized I had like 5 issues.
That's crazy. Wow.
And then crazy. When this whole thing started with the whole lockdown, it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this? So I took those pages and I started remastering them. I didn't want to redraw them. It's like I was doing everything but redrawing them because I still wanted to I guess, respect the artist that I was when I did those pages. But at the same time, I didn't have the time to redo it. So I figured, you know what? Let me save that energy for the next issues, for the next issue, new issues I have to do, to retool these pages as best as I can, and finally release them. So the original ones were in black and white. They're obviously now in color. The lettering, if you wanted to see a difference in lettering, you read the original issues, and the lettering is completely different. Like I said, I took a crash course in learning how to letter properly, even coloring properly for
JD
comics.
wasn't like JD can be pretty intense. Was he involved in that
No, not
learning
at all.
curve? No,
not at all. We disagree immensely as to how lettering should
I
look.
can't imagine that. But go ahead. Yeah.
So I just put these books together and finally put them out on Kickstarter. And to give you a sense of perspective, on my first issue, it took me the entire 30 days to raise the same money that it took this campaign on issue 4, 48 hours.
Yeah.
To
Well,
raise.
even on the last one,
Yeah.
I was part of it. And by the way, the fulfillment was awesome.
Thank you.
There's
Thank you.
so much stuff that we got. I wasn't expecting it because I really wanted the comic book, right?
Right.
And one thing I noticed, you didn't sign it. Damn it. The only thing I asked you to do.
Really, I must have missed it.
When I
I
see you
because I
next.
usually don't sign my books.
I know.
So I must have missed the note that says.
We'll figure it out when I meet.
I'll make it up on the next one.
That's all good. Don't let me interrupt. I want to make sure everybody sees this.
Yeah. So this is the overall story is So Eagle Raven Air the First Unicorn is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be, and dragons overtake her kingdom because she doesn't have enough problems, and in the end is like how she trains to become a knight in hopes that she could win a king's favor, and I guess like raise an army to go back to her kingdom and reclaim her kingdom and save her people. So this is the 4th issue of a 15-issue series. I was about to say limited series. I don't consider 15 issues limited on any sense. And yeah, so it's like we funded in literally 15 minutes, which surprised me. We already unlocked 2 of the stretch goals.
Yeah.
It's just so this is the 4th issue. I have samples of the pages on the campaign. So these are remastered in terms of like the original pages are still on my website. If you're the type of person that likes to compare, like what, like the differences like I would have made, from the black and white to the color, including the lettering. You can still do that because you can read the first 5 issues in its original format on my website at egoworks.com. But this is really the way I want you to see it, though, in color with the new lettering, because I kind of tweaked the story a bit.
The colors are really good.
Thank you.
They're not like overbearing to the point where it's
It
overdone.
was, like I said, I was watching a whole bunch of videos and I got to a point where I was taping color samples all over my office, trying to find like a kind of like a system that worked for me. Okay, how does this color works well with this one and that one? It's like, okay, I like this one better. The opacity on this one's better.
It must be awesome in that house, JD. Awesome. Right,
well, that's why we have separate offices, because it just stays, all that stays contained in the office. So it's not like I had stuff all over the house.
Right. I gotcha. I gotcha. And this, let me make a note too. There's 97 backers. This isn't JD buying everything on his credit card.
No,
15 minutes. This isn't you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is a legitimate 15 minutes. Incredible.
So in my last campaign on issue 3, I had a lot of new people. Like most of the people who backed my campaign were all new people.
Yeah.
I think
I was one of them. I don't think I have 2 or 1.
On this campaign, everybody's just buying issue 4. So whoever caught up on the 3rd issue, they're continuing
Good.
reading the story,
Very good.
which is like it's pretty. I'm kind of chuffed at seeing the numbers
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
It's like so whoever's coming to this campaign, they're staying. That which is really really important
Yeah,
because
well,
it
you're
means that
building a
they're
client
enjoying
base.
the work.
You're
Yeah.
building a client base. Yeah. So
Right. So, also the thing that I like doing is I also do, I also do my own prose work too. So I have an illustrated prose prequel
awesome.
that takes place 20 years before the series, because explaining the story of how Eagle Raven's
Sure.
parents met, because a unicorn girl doesn't just come out of nowhere, right?
No,
So
you're right.
so yeah, so if you want to see what my prose work is like, I also have a story for that as well. So and also, if you want to try out the book, if you're not reading it on my website, you can also download a free sampler
That's
on
awesome.
my campaign so that you can try it before you back the campaign. And this is the exact issue one that's in color and remastered and everything. So this is the actual first issue. You just get the first 16 pages
That's
of
great.
it to try it out.
What's the age group on this? Young adult or older?
It's a little it's wow, especially with the two issues I just
Well,
finished.
right.
It's I would probably around like 16, 17 up. Yeah, it's like mostly for violence and adult situations, which especially begins to ramp up as the issues go along. Like I said, I just finished issues 6 and 7, and as I was doing those pages, I was like going, yeah, I had to put mature labels on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
Well, it's good to know because
yeah.
people might think that, hey, this is great for my 12-year-old
Right,
kid. It would be great.
exactly.
And then,
And I've
yeah.
had people kind of say that. It's like, oh, I thought this book was for kids because of my art style. And it's like, yeah, I kind of have a cartoony art style, but my sense of storytelling isn't. So
I think it's a good marriage, though. I
right,
think that's
yeah,
great.
I
You just have to,
try, yeah.
people have to read the fine print. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
exactly. And so yeah, so I have like I said, it's like on the last campaign, the catch-up levels were really popular. Now
Yeah.
the fourth issue is the most popular one on this campaign. And I have the usual selection of variant covers. I have a virgin cover, which doesn't have the trade dress on it. I have a metallic silver cover, which shows off my inks, because even though the book
cool.
is in color, I still enjoy my inking very much. So I
Yeah.
like to show that off. And of course, I just had to do a hollow foil, or what I call the rainbow,
Yeah.
metallic rainbow cover, because I just adore my shinies.
That's cool. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Another way to show it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and and if you're a collector and you just like to get everything in one shot, I have levels with all the variant covers for all the previous issues, including sketch covers and some special variants. And the thing about the variants on this issue, actually for all the issues, so this is the last campaign you'll be able to get individual issues for issues 1 through 4, and that includes all the variants and everything. So everything you see on the screen here, this is the last campaign to do it, because the next campaign after this is the trade paperback
Good.
that collects issues 1 and 4, and I'm just resetting the clock on
That's
everything.
good. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a lot easier for you guys.
Oh no,
I'm
absolutely.
ashamed. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so this is like this is the last campaign to pick up all the individual variants, and then I have also the miscellaneous items, like the trading card set as add-ons. I have some special variants that I literally only have 2 of. I've already had people complaining that these are sold out. They sold out so quickly.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, I'm not reprinting them, so if you missed it, you missed it. Sorry.
So sad. Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
and one of them is a special variant that I got the artist from My Little Pony for IDW. Her name's Mary Bellamy.
Really?
To actually do a My
That's
Little
so
Pony
cool.
variant
That's
for
so cool.
Eagle Raven. So I might have a couple of these left. I just don't know which ones. And of course, I have a couple of the infamous nude cover, because everyone needs to do a nude cover on
Hell yeah,
Kickstarter.
right?
It seems.
Hell yeah. It's all good.
So yeah, so and then I have like a special, like my metal bookmarks. If you want to try out Tall Tales and the Oswald Chronicles, you can also pick up copies on my campaign as well. And so far, when it comes to these stretch goals, the first two stretch goals have been unlocked. So everyone will get extra trading cards added to their order. We're now now our next goal is to unlock the last trading card, but we still have a sticker to unlock. And if this campaign breaks my last record, I made $5,000 in my last campaign. If I break the record and hit $6,000 on this campaign, I am adding 8 more pages to the comic, introducing a series of short stories that they're they're technically part of the story, but not enough to really be part of the 15 issues, because it would just they're kind of like little side stories that if they were part of the 15 issues, it would bog it down, but I think that as individual stories, they work really well in expanding the world and explaining, doing more character development and whatnot that doesn't necessarily fit in with the main story. So at 6,000, I'm adding the first of those short stories in the comic.
That's cool.
So yeah, but we have to get to 6,000 first.
Sure,
It's a full color 8-page short. And that would bring up the total number of pages of issue 4 to 40 pages.
Wow.
So
And the quality of work, though, too. The quality, the stickers, the bookmarks, all of it, the trading cards, all well done. I mean, I've got to tell you, the thing that I received on number 3 was just, they were awesome. I mean, flawless. There was not the trading cards weren't tilted, anything. It was
right. I mean,
very
it's
well done.
We like to produce things that we want to see.
Quality. They are quality.
Yeah, it's there is nothing we produce that we wouldn't own ourselves, that we wouldn't want to have ourselves. And it's so we pride ourselves in that. And also fulfilling very quickly, because one of our main mantras when it comes to all our crowdfunding is that all our work is done before
I
we even
cannot
launch the
stress
campaign.
that enough. As my situation, I'm still waiting on my fulfillment for mine.
Yeah.
And I know that on the next ones I'm doing, that's it. It's 75% or all. I'm not, Chris and I went back and forth.
I mean, I literally have, this is the proof for the 4th issue. So I have it right here. The campaign is there, and I have the book right here.
Ready to go.
It's ready to go.
And that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I have the file ready with the extra story, in preparation if when we break that 6,000.
That's really the only way to do it. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So
but that's baptism by fire too. You've been doing this so many times, and you learn as you go.
That was a lesson we learned watching other people.
Yeah. Well, I get it. I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that the tchotchkes is what I call them. The extras are sometimes overkill on some of the things. You guys don't do that though. It's cohesive. Some of the other ones, like, hey, if we reach this goal, we're going to give you whatever. I mean, some of them are so crazy that it's like, why would I want that?
Yeah, we've gotten some strange. Like there was one campaign that gave like a membership card.
Yeah.
And it's like a fan club, and it's like, who asked for this?
Yeah,
it's like, what
and
are we
I've had
supposed to
some
do
that are
with
just
this?
great. They come like a spy book, and it comes in a file, and it was really cool, really well done. Fingerprints on it was really cool. That kind of stuff's fun, and what you've done is excellent. But again, I think that it is. You guys know what you're doing. I mean, this is and JD and I talked about this too, and I know that I'm sure you definitely feel the same way. This is our business model. This is how we distribute now. This is what it's going to be. And it's a good thing. I think it might evolve into some other avenues, but I think that this is a very good tested way of producing and distributing our work. So
and also, before I keep forgetting, this is the second Eagle Raven issue that got a Project We Love on Kickstarter.
Fantastic.
And it's my third, if you count the last Tall Tales trade. Volume 3, which got a Project We Love on Kickstarter. So I would like to think that on top of everything, we have somebody at Kickstarter actually enjoying our stuff as well to do this. So,
Yeah, it's the nude variants. It's fantastic.
Right.
I think it's nude variants. But no, I think that it
Yeah.
shows it. But you've also done the legwork. You've done
Yeah.
a lot of good things in the project. No matter what the age group is, the artwork's excellent, the coloring's excellent, the stories are solid. So I mean, yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could lose with this. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm very chuffed.
you should
Although,
be.
although
be.
it's like running a campaign is nerve wracking no matter what. Like it doesn't matter how many like what last year we did. What did we
I had
do
management on
last year?
mine.
11 campaigns between the two of us
Yeah,
last year.
you guys are nuts.
11?
That's crazy.
Was it 11? Was it 13?
Yeah.
It was like it was something. Yeah,
Man.
it was just like
It's
It was a lot of
two
them.
of us.
It's
It was a lot of
crazy.
them.
Well, I remember.
Yeah.
We were like, I said to Lisa Malone that ran my management, and I'm like, because I can't, I just don't understand. I'm getting it, but I don't. The first two, I'm like, I don't, I need balance on it, and I didn't know even, just learning it. But you guys have gotten so much experience. That's why I'm saying you guys need to, you need to maybe put that in a book or put it on a YouTube channel, whatever.
Right. Well, I am
Charge
planning
for
on. I am planning on making
Market that.
videos like what I learned on like the 5 things I learned from Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because every time, but the thing is, though, like every time we run a Kickstarter, well, for me, it always feels like the first time. And then it's like, and then we're always learning something new. Like you think you're prepared, and then something else pops up. On each campaign. Just like in this campaign, like this is the first campaign I really pushed the pre-launch page.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, because
huge part.
The whole thing behind it is that if you have a really good 48 hours, the algorithm really pushes your campaign, and whatnot. But conversely, you have JD who also is doing the pre-launch thing for the first time, and he hates it.
Oh yeah, I hate it. My thought behind it is this: I have to pitch and push for 30 days for this pre-launch, and then I have to pitch and push for a 30-day campaign. Why not just do a 60-day campaign if you're going to do that?
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
see
my
the logic
thought
in
process.
that, but
you know what I mean? I'm like, because the thing is okay, if I was getting the data from Kickstarter concerning those signups, that would be important. But I'm not getting that data. Also, because I'm not getting that data, I can't incentivize it. So I can't say if you sign up and you pledge, I'll give you this. So that would encourage more people to sign up.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Some
give over.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't incentivize it, so it makes no sense to me. Because the only people who are really getting anything out of it is Kickstarter, because they're the ones that are collecting all that information, all that metadata. I'm not getting any of that stuff. Right?
Okay.
So why
I get
do
that
it?
point. I get that point.
You
And
know?
it's double duty. I mean, it is. I mean, we're trying to
Exactly.
And you're running a show and you're doing other things.
Right.
One of the things I do is collaborate a ton. I mean, I'm collaborating with, and Daphne, you do that too. I know, JD, you got a lot of people on your shows. And and we do. I mean, diversification's a key. Everybody knows that. I have multiple people on my show. They help me out. I help them out.
Right.
That's the way it works. But it's a challenge. Absolutely, it's a challenge. Are you okay? So are you both on Kickstarter though? Thank you, Daphne. It was awesome.
No,
That's
thank
such
you.
a great-
Thank you.
Well,
Are you
my
both on Kickstarter? Or is
my
your own-
Kickstarter launches tomorrow, but
Monday.
yesterday,
Right.
for when it
Totally.
Right. So,
Yeah,
so
when
right.
March
this one goes
21st.
Right.
March 21st is when the Oswald Chronicles launches.
launches, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going
it'll
to add
launch-
that
it'll
to the
launch-
stream real quick, and we can show everybody your.
we
You gotta outdo Daphne now. So
Right.
this
Yeah.
is-
Yeah.
Well, mine is
That's
just it's just literally
The pre-launch
just
page.
the pre-launch page. Okay, well this is the long shots.
Okay, that's a long shot. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
so
can remove
if you-
that. You want me to?
Okay,
want me to
what-
put the other one up or what?
Well, let's run through this real quick. So I
Okay.
mean, just for the basic story, six publishers got together, had a failed business opportunity happen, and we're moving on. So we have these 9 books that we published or printed, and this is the campaign for it. Hold on, let me get in there. So so it's on Indiegogo. It's not on Kickstarter.
Right.
So, just to run through it, these are the books laid out, but let me run through them real quick. Only Death Can Save Us. This is by Russ Leach.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome book. God's Hand. Anthony
book.
Figueroa.
Absolutely beautiful book. I gotta say, Hybrids. Another. I did a
by
cover on
Luke
that one.
Stone.
Sorry, I have to say, I did a cover on.
Oh
that
yeah,
one, so.
fantastic looking book. Sheila the Interceptor. This is J.D. Rosario's book. Incredible looking book. This is also his artwork by Russ Leach.
Yep.
Revolt. This is
I think I got that.
an anthology book,
Yep.
and this is an awesome book.
Yep.
The Oswald
I got that one,
Chronicles.
too.
And
Yep.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with this one. It's initially they were all in black and white. This one's in full color.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to
that's
see
a
the full
great
color, there it
series,
is.
by the way, too. Not to take away from you at all. That's a super series. I really liked that. The thing that you sent
I
me was
appreciate
just
that.
fantastic.
And then we have The Well Keeper. This is by D. Fish. And it's in black and white, but it's beautifully illustrated. I mean, just her illustration is just incredible. Her pen and ink is just fantastic.
Awesome.
Then we have Tall Tales, or So I Thought. And this is Daphne and myself, going to work on Tall Tales. This is,
It's always, there's always, like, Tall Tales is our staple.
Yes.
There's always
that's
a Tall
good.
Tales.
Then we have Hero Bot Zero. This is by Randy Zinn.
Yep.
And this is,
Talked about earlier.
this is a fantastic looking book, all ages.
It
This is something, this is a metal bookmark. So we have a metal bookmark level where you can get a bunch of bookmarks. And these things look incredible. I love these. I love the one for Oswald and for Tall Tales. I love them all. But I specifically point those out because I would have never designed them like this. And they, somebody else did the design work. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Right. So this is an example of a metal bookmark.
Yeah.
So this is the one. This is one we did for Tall Tales because, like I said, there's always a Tall Tales one. So it's aluminum. With a nice shiny printed design.
They're well made. Absolutely.
They're very nice.
Yeah. All right. So go check that out. That's on Indiegogo.
Yep.
And
that's a good. I mean, that's something. It's going to help out a lot of different creators in this. So that's,
that's
awesome.
And that's the other thing. It's $25 for 9 books plus shipping.
Yeah. Where can you buy that? I mean, the quality. I mean, I'm telling you, your books are excellent. God's Hand. I'm telling you, beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Anthony Figueroa did a beautiful job on that book. So I'm telling you, it's
also it's like this is a really good campaign for people who are like really daunted in trying to find, there's so many independent comics out there and they don't know what they really like or are into, or like they know but they don't know where to start, and it's like this is the perfect campaign for that because every book is so distinct from each other that it's like you for $25, which most people get one book from a campaign.
Right.
You pay $25, you get 9 books. You're guaranteed to find a book that you're going to enjoy in this.
And that's, and you're making lemonade from lemons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happened in the campaign, that not the campaign, but the project. It faltered. This is a great way to not only get, like you said, a complete package of all different kinds of books, and you're helping out the creators that, it's a great, I think it's a great thing. Win-win. Yeah. I'm going to add the other one up here if you don't mind.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
And then, tell everybody about this one.
If you share my screen, I'm actually on the back.
Are you?
The back end of it, so we can actually see the campaign.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
See, this is JD. You see how this works, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just letting you know because that's exactly what Christine would have done. Yeah.
Right. Listen. All hail to the lady. That's all.
Just follow her lead. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. I never said anything. So this is my latest campaign. So this is going up tomorrow or the 21st. It's going up on the 21st.
Right. So
it's going up on the 21st, and this is the next story in the arc. And I just wanted to show everybody this. Like Daphne said, we have the books finished. So the books, are done. They're all put together. They're just waiting, to be sent out to the printer. And this story is about Oswald, and he meets a new friend. His name is Dauphin, and he's a traveling warrior gnome, right? And most gnomes are not known for being fighters, but Dauphin's a little odd. He's an outcast amongst his own people. He's driven by deep passion for something that happened to him. His family was literally taken away from him. And he has, ever since that point, he's sworn to destroy any evil he discovers. So he's become like he's basically a monster hunter, but in the Fey realm. So the monsters get crazy. And in this particular story, there's this giant spider. As you can see, there's all these spiders, and Oswald finds him, and through this story, we discover what has happened to Dauphin and the trauma he's gone through, and basically his warrior quest of what of how he's trying to do this. And Dauphin eventually becomes, throughout the story, he becomes a very good friend to Oswald. And this is Dauphin fighting off one of these monsters. And just to show you, as you can see, as Daphne rolls through it, we have the regular cover. We have alternative covers as well. This
Awesome.
Jade Gonzalez, she did the artwork on. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Jade Gonzalez did the on the main cover, right? And the alternate cover is illustrated by Aurelio Mannix. He not Aurelio Mannix, Emmanuel. Aurelio Mannix is his pen name. It's Emmanuel. Francisco. So yeah, he has 19 names. I had to
beautiful, no matter what his name is. It looks great. So yeah, that's awesome.
And it was colored by Bruno Kodak. He did a great job. The other cover, that's actually the wrong. I'm laughing because the colorist, that's the wrong name. We got to change that. It's a good thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But that was actually colored by Slamit. I forgot his name. I forgot his last name, but his first name is Slamit. But we'll correct that before that goes live. But we originally had. I mean, just hold on to that. Hold on to that there, Jess.
Oh, here.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, right there. So if you can see this was the original colors done on it. It was a good job, right? The guy did a good job. I like these colors, but I had started working with this other color artist, and I just saw there was just a different level, and I said, you know what? Let me get him to do a cover piece. It's costing me extra money, but you know what? I thought it was worth it, and it shows. I think the new coloring on the covers, I think, is just
excellent.
Just really, really nice. Yep. So yeah, I think both covers are very well. So I just wanted to put that out.
That's great, though. Yeah, that's really, really good. Well, I'm glad you got the eye still. Sometimes the guys, as we get older, it's like, okay, maybe it might look good. You took the initiative. That's awesome. The interiors look great, though. Black and white, they look awesome.
Yeah, this is all Jade Gonzalez. Yeah, she does fantastic work. Been working with her. Beautiful. Going on 12 years. And then we have a creators list. That's Jade. So, And if you keep rolling, this is I guess a card that I have. This is basically, the covers showing, the various levels. We have the alternative covers. This little box right there, that shows these little items that I'm actually, for the first 45 backers, they're going to get those 4 items. Awesome. So the first 45 physical backers, they will get those items. So that's cool. Then we have also available, we have t-shirts, which I'm currently wearing. Awesome. And so we have t-shirts available, we have pins available. So those are add-ons. So if anybody wants to pick those up. And then we also have virgin covers, like Daphne was showing us, without the trade dress. We have it for both, the Jade covers and Emmanuel. And then we also have, I'm also doing, this is that's going to be like a silver foil cover with just the black and white, because I loved his black and white so much. I was like, wow, that's going to look, And
I mean,
on the silver foil,
kind of noir, but it's going to be noir, but it's got that that pop because it's metal. That looks so good. Yeah. I like
so.
That.
And like I said, these books already done. All the artwork's already in house. We have everything. So it's just a matter of just producing them and shipping them out.
And that's you guys are doing it the right way. I can see where I know where I can improve, and I hope everybody else knows that too. I mean, humility is a good thing in this business, because you can really learn some beautiful lessons to ultimately benefit the client base that you're going to be selling. You got the books already in hand. That's huge. It's a huge thing. So I think that's terrific, especially in today's world with the paper shortage and everything else.
Right. Yeah. No, that's like I said, that was a lesson we learned watching other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And because running a campaign is stressful enough as is, you don't
Yeah.
need to be trying to scramble to finish a book on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, Anita from Raging 2, she was, which I co-host with her on another channel on two shows on the Raging 2 network, and she was just complaining about how there was one campaign they're going on 3 years not fulfilling.
Completely unacceptable.
Wow.
Completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I feel bad that it's been a month. That we're delayed. I'm pulling my hair out. You cannot imagine the stress. Well, you might, JD, you might, because you might have had this happen, both of you, where the I'm all set. I mean, the books are all here.
Yeah.
The orientation's wrong. They're turned over. I'm like, it's like a steering wheel to read the book
I'm paranoid.
now.
I'm paranoid about that stuff.
I had to just. I mean, I almost got sick. I mean, I was just like,
that'll do it.
There was one campaign where the books were cut crooked along the top, so they were all like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, luckily, it was something that we were able to correct ourselves.
Okay.
But I had to let my printer have it though.
This is awesome though. Everything on the campaign, I want people to definitely this will be live when this airs. So there's no, you guys just go ahead and check it out. I'm gonna remove it off of here so we can see everybody full screen. But the biggest thing we're learning, and that's something that in indie publishing is a very it's mandatory that we're always learning in life anyway. But I think that it's very it can be managed. That's the biggest thing. And if we can eliminate some of the problem, if you've got the books in hand, fantastic. I insist that I know that everything else I do now, whether it's doing if I do a resin figure for my campaigns or whatever, they're going to be 75%. Everything will be at least 75% done. The books will probably be already at the editor by the time I even run the campaign. I think that's just I know people that do campaigns to pay for the next book that's not even on the campaign, and I don't know about that. I'm still kind of excited. You know what I mean? That's kind of weird, but it works for them. I don't know. It's a big learning curve, and you have a ton of people you've got to trust. The one thing about you guys is it's in house, most of it, except for the print. So, and that's a huge part of it. And that's that's why I consider you guys a dynamic duo, because I'm sure that there's arguments, and I'm sure that JD's wrong most of the time, but you're learning. You're learning.
Well, the thing that one of the things that we don't agree on, right? That because it's like he keeps saying, "Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep doing that?" Is and especially in the last 2 years, especially once Kickstarter and crowdfunding became such a staple, and it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this seriously, I have to have my books done and all this. And I've been really pushing with getting, like I said, I'm up to issue 7. The campaign's for issue 4. And I'm already, and I've just finished the pencils for issue 7, and I have all 15 issues. They're complete. The scripts are complete. The thing is that I became like a hyper planner, where JD likes to fly by the seat of his pants.
Right.
I have all my campaigns scheduled through 2025.
Yeah. Is that the same? But in life, you're like that, though, right? You're organized.
This is something that I really, really picked up in the past 2 years.
Okay.
Because in the end, I realized that there was just so much to do, and not to be kind of a little morose with it, but when Meredith passed, a friend of ours, that really kind of sunk in that I have more time behind me than I have in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, if I really want to get all this work done, I have to know how I'm going to get it all done.
Right.
And I have to schedule it out so that I have all these targets to hit, so that I don't get I have issue 7 done, and my goal is to finish issue 8 and then have all the issues for next year completed this year.
Yeah.
So I literally want to get a proof for all of next year's books by the end of this year. But I can't do that if I just, like kind of like, oh, well, I finished issue 7 early. Let me just coast. And then,
Yeah.
and then it's like before I know it, it's November and I haven't even started issue 8 yet.
Yeah.
So I can't have that happening anymore, because honestly, that's kind of why Tall Tales took so long in that 20 years, because it was easy to get complacent. But I realized these past 2 years that it's like, oh, I can't be like that anymore if I want to get all this work done.
Yeah. Sense of urgency is a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
very
So I'm
real thing.
yeah. So it's like I'm always like, like scheduling and lists, and it's like, okay, they say the pre-launch page will make the boost, will make the campaign boost, and this and the other thing. Meanwhile, it's like Jose goes, I feel like, JD's like, oh, I feel like running a campaign this weekend.
It's not quite that. It's not quite that unorganized. In my defense, it does take a little bit to put together the actual page, which I do on my own for the most part.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the differing thing is also like I'm working with a lot of outside artists, so I have bills to pay. Okay, Daphne's doing all of her own work. She's doing all of her own artwork.
Yeah.
I have bills to pay. I got people to pay, right? So whatever money I'm pulling in, I'm paying out. So I have to rely on this bulk system. You understand? So I have to get these campaigns out. I have to get this money in, and I have to pay the artists. And currently I did well enough last year that I'm working with 2 artists on two separate Oswald stories. So the next step is to try to get 3 done, right? So I'm trying to get 3 artists working at the same time on 3 separate stories. So I have enough material. I've calculated out to produce about 16 campaigns. Okay. So back to back, I could do 16 campaigns. If I was just to do what Daphne's doing, I'll be doing campaigns to 2030.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
If I do them the way I do it, I could probably get them done in the next 2 years, 2.5 years. And that's, a pretty, I'm compressing it as much as I can.
Man, that's a sizable task, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing is, though, is by the time I get to the end of the material that I have now, I may have double the amount of material at that point. So it's like it's a constantly growing thing, because I have goals of my own. I don't write them down. I have them in my cabeza, right? But they're there.
Right.
Like, I don't necessarily write them down, but they're there. So like I know I'm launching this campaign, right? I know when my next campaign is going to launch. And the thing is, like I said, I mean, we're doing the 30-day sign up thing.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. If that works for you, that works for you. But like I said, I consider it's not necessarily a waste of time. It might be, it might not be. I don't know. But I feel I'd rather run a 60-day campaign than do that, because I feel like I'm already running a 60-day campaign.
You're already
the
there.
only difference is that first 30 days is a waste because I'm not making any money.
Well, it's building up inertia. It's building up excitement for the launch. I think that's the mentality of it all. I mean,
I guess
marketing wise, but
right, marketing wise. But the thing is, though, is I've done enough of them that fortunately, I have the fans that I have, and they're already waiting. They're like, what's taking you so long?
Yeah, right.
They're like,
what a better problem to have, my friend.
Right.
What a better problem to have.
Where's my next Oswald hit? And I'm like, okay, here it is. Right. So that's how I view it. And also the thing is I like to experiment with other platforms. So I'm doing Kickstarter now. Maybe I'll do an IGG down the road.
And I think that's important, because we need to learn it. I mean, I'm going to probably do that too. I'm going to go back and forth and see what's, there's give and take on both of them,
Right. And that platform has its own like picadillos. You gotta bring your audience to that one. Is a completely different audience, but they're there, and you just gotta find them.
And what's going to be the next one? What's going to be the next platform that we're going to be able to
exactly
not
and
manipulate but use? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Is like where we're going to move next. And the thing with Daphne's system, I find it too rigid. Right. Like, what if she has everything structured and put in, but I'm like, but what if I came up with this idea and I need to put this in?
Yeah.
Right. Well, how do you pull it apart?
Actually, and that's the thing. I have been doing. You see, that's the thing that I have been doing that, because even though I have my schedule pretty much set for like I had everything set for 2022.
Yeah.
But The
Well, the
only
beginning of
date,
2022 changed a lot for a
right?
lot of people. This was like
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
major thing for you.
yeah,
You had a
yeah.
lot
So
going
I
on.
had that. So I had like the
Yeah,
whole year planned
yeah,
out in terms of
yeah,
what crowdfunds I was going
yeah.
to do. But the only date I made official was this one, was
Mhm.
the March 14th. So what that did, so when I decided to actually change up which books I was going to offer at the end of the year, I was able to switch that up, which I did. I had to move. I
Mhm.
had to move some stuff up. I had to push stuff to next year. I had just had to, tweak some other campaigns. But because I didn't officially announce those other dates, that's how I'm able
I see.
to maneuver it. So even though that my schedule is still set, like I'm looking at my calendar right now with my
I am too. I'm
dates.
looking at mine. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not even
like
want to look at it.
everything is set
Yeah.
until I actually announce those dates. They're technically not set in stone. So
I,
I
You
do
know,
have an out. I do
do
have
you
an
find
out.
do you find that I mean, Christine's really good at multitasking. I can't, guys, JD, maybe you're better than I am, but I'm very focused. If I get onto
Mhm.
something, that's it. I can't do something else. And for women, I mean, and I mean this in a great way. My dad always said, if you want something done correctly, have a woman do it because they can multitask. Not in a
Mhm.
bad, not a sexist way
All
or
right.
anything like that, but it's just you get a better result usually, is what he always told me. And he's right.
Right.
He was right. I
It's
mean,
like I don't know if it's like
I
you see, the funny thing is like I when it comes to multitasking, I feel like I don't have a choice.
but see,
Yeah.
that's yeah, but it comes
That's the
naturally to you
thing,
though.
that it's
That's
like,
and that's why you're to the benefit. You're getting
yeah,
better result. I would not that JD's not, but
right.
you know.
We're getting different results.
Right.
That's
See,
what it is, because it's like he has. I mean, because it's not like he's not funding. I mean, he
no, right, no,
funds.
right,
He funds.
yeah.
Just as quickly. Well, okay, maybe not 15 minutes. We're still working on
You
that,
stuck
but
him in the
We'll
basement,
see.
Daphne. I
yeah.
mean, he's
Mhm.
Well,
working in
he
a basement.
claimed
The
the
poor guy. I
basement. He
mean,
claimed the
Yeah, I
basement.
claim the basement. Yes.
The only
poor
trade
young
off is
man.
that he has to deal with the floods.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah.
understandable.
That's the only
Yeah,
That's
bad part.
understandable.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the only problem.
But it's like, yeah, it's like, you see, and that's the thing too, because it's like we do things slightly differently.
Yeah,
We get the results that we do, and then it's like we're like going, well, I did this, this, and this, and got this, and then he goes, well, I did this, this, and this, and got this, and then that's where all the Venn diagrams come in.
Right.
And
got it.
then it's like we just start trading off information. It's like, okay, well, I can use that. Oh, I can't use that.
Yeah.
And even
Mhm.
with this campaign, he's working with somebody to hopefully
Yep.
push his campaign to the next
Good.
level.
Good.
And he's been telling me what she's been telling him, and I'd
Yeah.
be like, well,
Yeah.
oh, I could use that, and I can use that. So,
Yeah.
like I
Mhm.
said, everything's a learning
It's a
experience.
twofer, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause you
Yeah.
could,
it's
yeah,
like
Yeah.
definitely.
everything is a learning experience. So even
Yeah.
though we have different we have our different ways of doing things to get the same result,
Mhm.
we're both picking from each other what we can use with what we're learning on each other's
Got it.
ends.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like we're technically combining information,
What
even though
was
we're doing stuff differently.
in closing of it all,
Mhm.
what would be the best advice that you'd have if you have a couple that are trying to do what you're doing? Because you guys you're working on separate projects, but you're working on the same project,
Mhm.
really, when it
Right.
comes down to it.
Right.
What would be the best advice you would give them?
Well, definitely.
Constructive criticism,
Right.
listening. What would be?
Definitely, but I'm really serious about the separate offices and separate bathrooms.
Yeah, I
stuff,
agree with
if
that.
they're
I totally
possible.
agree with that. Yeah.
Just I don't know. It's like I think what it is that even though we're doing the same thing, we're gunning for the same end result. We're both individual people.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's like in the end, it's like we don't go, well, you have to do it like this. No, but
Yeah.
you have to do it like that. It's kind
Right.
of like, look, I'm doing it like this, and then we'll see
Mhm.
what happens.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
because for myself, it's respecting each other's spaces. You know what I mean? I do what I do on Oswald. She does what she does on
Yeah.
Eagle Raven, and in Tall Tales, we do what we do together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how that works. So it's just like she has her project, I have my project, then we have our project.
Right, yeah.
So,
Which
you know,
yeah, it's kind of funny how that ended up, you know.
mhm,
But even
right.
then, with Tall Tales, it's not like I'm going in going, well, I need to see this, or I want to see this, or this. It's like, okay, all right, what's this? You know, it's like, when am I going to get the issues?
Yeah,
It's more like when
right.
am I going to get the
Yeah,
scripts?
yeah. Because
Yeah,
the thing with Tall Tales is always thing is like the story. It's not. I wouldn't say it's set, but I
yeah,
pretty much have a direction where I'm going. I know what
Yeah.
points I need to hit in the
hmm
story. So it's like for someone to come in, whether it be Daphne or anybody else, to say, "Oh, you should do this or you should do that," but like it doesn't fit into the narrative that I'm telling.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm very in that particular sense. I'm very hard headed. I was like,
yeah,
no.
right,
Does
yeah,
I
that
just,
does it help
and
though? Because I mean, Chris is removed from it, and she'll bring up something like, "Oh, that's a really good point. Like I didn't think
mm,
about that. It's in my head, and I
right.
didn't tell her that, but you know what I mean. The story, you know how that
Mm,
goes. Do you think that's it's like
well,
stepping away from the drawing desk for a couple
right.
minutes and then coming back? You know,
Hmm.
Daphne, you
right,
understand that where you look at something so long
right,
that
yeah,
if you,
no, no, I
as an
have
artist,
to,
you need to
yeah,
come back.
yeah,
Is it good
Hmm.
though to have that fresh
Well,
statement? It's not really the delivery of it because sometimes I can be
mm,
very abrupt and I don't mean to be. I
right.
say it a certain way and I don't mean it that way. And Chris is like, "Oh, you're a jerk. You're an absolute jerk.
Oh,
I can't believe
well,
you said." You know what I mean?
here's the thing though. We don't ask each other
Uh,
for any critique or advice or
ah,
anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's like
all right.
so it's like yeah, so we don't do that.
Right.
Unless like it's like unless I need him to unless I need that advice.
Okay.
You
Fair
Hmm.
know,
enough.
so it's like it's very rare that he's done it where he knows something is wrong, but he can't put his finger on it. So he'll say,
Hmm.
"Read this for me and tell me, you know, there's, you know, tell me, you
Yeah.
know, what you think." And
Hmm.
then that's when I'll tell him,
Right.
you know, but even then it's like I'm telling him, you know, my whole caveat is like, "Look, this is what I think it is. Do whatever you want with the information or don't do anything with the information." It's like it's just
Hmm.
like, "Look, this is what I think, that take it or leave it." You know, it's like
Right.
there is no it's like, "Oh, well, I think this is, you know, you have to change this."
Hmm.
It's everything that kind of thing has to be it's very optional.
Yeah.
Like if
So
I
there
need
is a
yeah.
compromise though. There is a
Yeah.
compromise
Yeah.
Yeah.
to it. All,
And
Yeah.
and I think that
typically,
that's
Right.
ultimately the what I was going for. In
Uh-huh.
right.
any
Yeah.
relationship, there's got to be some compromise in a good
Yeah.
way.
Right.
Not you win,
Hmm.
I don't. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
not that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, I mean, but
Yeah.
granted though, there are some times where it's like, you know, it's like ah rah rah rah. It's like oh
right?
yeah, he's
I
right.
know,
Okay,
right?
fine.
Get back,
It's like, you
get
know,
back in the basement. Yeah,
that's you know,
right,
yeah, it's like
Hmm.
it's you know that's
right.
you know that happens too. You know, where it's like we get the advice we don't want,
I know. Well,
Right.
but then
yeah,
it's like in
that's
the end, it's like
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Right. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've eaten
yeah,
crow before too. I know, and
Hmm.
it's but
right.
that's what a first world problem to have. We are so fortunate to have
This is true.
spouses that are
Yeah,
uh, comrades in a way,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
Chris and I. Whether it's her business, what she does or what I do, we try to help each other as best we can. And I know with
yeah,
you, I
Hmm.
mean that whatever works is working for you guys, and that's what I wanted people to see.
yeah.
So whatever
Hmm.
campaigns you're running, whatever you're doing, it's working. So, and you
Hmm.
haven't killed JD, so that's good. So
Yeah. And,
yeah,
and look,
right. Well,
I have a simple piece of advice for all guys.
okay,
Don't argue, talk.
Right. Yeah.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Listen, use your
That's
Right.
the
ears. Yeah,
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't argue. No matter how pissed you may get, right? Swallow it, shut up,
you're right.
and listen.
Right.
And then you
You're
discuss it.
absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah.
You talk about
discourse
it.
is so important.
Yeah.
Right. You
Yeah,
talk about it. You don't,
my
you
brother
don't,
told me that early on. He says,
yeah.
make sure that you always have communication.
Yeah.
Your communication is going to be the thing that
Mhm.
will take you to your
Mhm.
grave
Right.
Right.
or send you
Don't,
there. One or the other. So,
no yelling, no
yeah,
screaming.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Talk.
And it's
No.
hard. It's you get
Yeah.
frustrated and it's hard sometimes, but
Hmm.
there's always respect there. That's got
Yeah.
to be there.
Hmm.
Thank you guys. You guys rock.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Um,
Ted. Yeah.
JD, you were pretty hard on her when we talked privately, but she's
Oh,
not
I
that bad,
know.
bro. She's
Yeah.
not that bad. Um,
I'm hard on everybody, so it's okay.
Yeah.
right. You New Yorkers, whatever.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why technically, you notice we do everything together except have a show.
That's hey, Chris. You know what? Chris and I only have one show together, and it's a drinking show, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So, and it's her show, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Yeah, thank you guys. I wanted to show a kind of an idea of how it does work, because it's not a perfect thing.
Right,
And you can have a marriage, you can have a great relationship, and you can have creativity and respect for each other without. And you know what? There's not always money to be made on certain things, and it's a struggle for some people financially to make it work. And I get that too for people, but don't let that consume your relationship. That's not what it's about. Because you're trying to make the world better. That's the whole thing, and make your lives better. In return. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, where everybody can reach you. Daphne, you start.
Oh,
Tell
well,
everybody about Raging too.
Yeah, sure. Yes, yeah. So, well, pretty much you can head over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven for free in its original black and white format. Like I said, if you're the type that likes to make comparisons, but mostly I post to Facebook, where you can see like work in progresses and sketches and all my types of updates. And also you can find me on YouTube on my own channel at Daphne Lage Art, where I have videos about the process, how I do my comics, art supply reviews and whatnot. And I'm also co-host of a vlog series, twice a week vlog series with Nita Lanning on the Raging 2 network. You can also find links to that on my YouTube site as well. You can, because we stream to both to channels, and yeah. So, but you can find everything at egoworks.com. That's where I list everything. So there you go.
Very good. Okay, JD, what you got, man? Where can everybody
for myself, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, all under JD Calderon. You can also find me on YouTube under JD Calderon, and under Indie Comics Explained, where I have a Sunday show, which happens at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just about every Sunday. I sometimes like to play hooky and not show up on some Sundays, but most Sundays I'm there. The group of people, and we're talking about indie comics, and we try to keep it to the business of indie comics, and also the creation of indie comics, which I think is important. I think too many shows get sidetracked with stuff that's going on with Marvel and DC, and sometimes even Image, but we try to keep to just specifically indie comics. We love our roots. Just about all of us come from Marvel and DC. Those are our roots. But sometimes you gotta cut and run from those guys.
There was something that Jose had said yesterday that it's still stuck in my mind.
Sure.
It's like, no matter how good the foundation is, nobody looks at the foundation. They look at the building.
Yeah, they always look at the curb appeal. As an former architectural designer, it's all curb appeal, right? Doesn't matter what the house, it's got a basement or a slab.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on, right? Thanks, guys. Stick around for a minute, and we'll close out the show. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right. So, I mean, now you guys have it. You kind of understand why I wanted to have this dynamic duo. This couple, they've been doing it a long time. This isn't something that's a fly by night. 2 different avenues, same destination. That's the way I look at their relationship, Daphne and JD, and they do it in a way that works, and it's a proven system, and they're learning. That it's so important. We never stop learning, and if you're going to have a relationship like that, regardless of whatever you guys do, whether it's Christine and I doing her business in dry goods or whatever, or me doing artwork or books production, whatever, you have to be supportive for that other person. Doesn't matter what it is or what type of relationship you have. If you have a partner, you need to be supportive. And that's what I wanted to show you today. And I think that we achieved that. I think that we did. Kickstarter information. I am receiving my books back, but I'm going to be in Lexington Comic-Con in Kentucky this week coming up. That's why this is pre-recorded. So I'm going to be unavailable until the following week. Hopefully we'll get the books in while I'm gone. Christine will check them out, make sure they're in good shape. And then I'll start fulfillment probably, I would think, the first week of April. Once I get everything in order, I've got everything counted, make sure everything's together, just so that everybody knows what's going on with Grim 101 Book 2. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys listening to this dynamic duo that we had on today. I think that you guys will learn a lot, and I hope that your significant other is supportive in your endeavors, or you are with theirs, because it's very important. I think that the world is a lot better when we listen to each other. So check out everything that we're doing on the station, because I would love for you guys to be part of it. Like and share and subscribe. That would be a really, really helpful for me. And I appreciate you guys so much. Do something good for somebody. We will talk to you soon.